agro products. So if you're not licensed, it's just like you selling a consumable. NAFDAC has to facilitate. You have to go through that process. So as we speak, I don't even think in Africa that there are agencies who are, or a cluster who are controlling those agro products. So that is where you see people going into their backyards and then mix up or come up with something that is harmful and then sell it to the public. So the governments have a major role to play. That was why I went back to that crop insurance. It's still one of the things the government have to do for agro business inclined persons or that cluster. So they are responsible for setting up agencies to checkmate those things. So first your product has to go through a facilitation process by this agency before you now take it to the market.
But see, don't listen. Yeah. I have a feeling you have something to add regarding that.
She have said it all, but let me add this. I believe there are agencies that checkmate fake and original chemicals, maybe for crops or for animals, because even animals do get treated, help of these chemicals for their health. Now, the only thing I've seen is that these agencies feels and believe they don't have work. They are just there, get their salary, and then relax without doing the work they're supposed to do. That is why people feel relaxed to do whatever without feeling guilty or feeling that they may be caught in the process.
Quite sad the situation is bad. We get to this point where we talk about agencies and the responsibilities of government regarding fake products in agro businesses. We've talked about sprays, chemicals that are not workable the way they ought to be. These are concerns. But when we return, we get to talk more about government policies in agro businesses. Don't go anywhere.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigerian. From issues on politics,
hello Nigeria, I remain committed.
Security, education, health, lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
Welcome back. Is Business 101. My name is Blyden Dukem and we've been talking about agro businesses in Nigeria. We've looked at government policies and how it has affected agro businesses. We've looked at the challenges in this industry as well as the risk factors. Let's talk about policies from another standpoint. Government policies. What are the policies that affect agro businesses, the functionability of it? We've talked about sprayers and some of the chemicals being fake, and it seems like no agency is taking it upon themselves to checkmate this. But there could be other situations. Most businesses get to talk about taxation as a problem. From an agro perspective, what are the limitations from government policies that has made it difficult for entrepreneurs to get to the level they ought to get to in this business?
Okay. Talking about policies, I know you all have challenges. Some persons will say they don't have what it takes to get to the right place or to get to the right source in order for their produce or their chemicals or their spray to be verified and confirmed that it can be used by everyone. I think it would be better if you have an idea of producing maybe a chemical for pest control or for fertilization. Why not meet someone that have been in the system?
Does chemical production require NAFDAC assessment?
Yes.
It does.
Then it does.
It does. Well, you know, there's how someone will get a chemical produced fake way and still get it being NAFDAC.
Possible?
How possible is that?
It is possible. You may get the first one right. The first chemical may be okay, just to get the NAFDAC number. Then the rest will mix up with other things.
Because I feel for me, the NAFDAC number, it's the entire branding.
Yeah.
So it's a number you attach to your branding. So it's true.
So for many people, the moment they get the NAFDAC number.
Yeah, I had an experience one time like that when I opened a certain carton. Let me even mention the name Dragon. I needed to use it for a farm. And I noticed that it contains 12 bottles in a carton. Now, 6 out of the 12 were original. And the rest were not. And all of them had the same NAFDAC number. So I feel for me that the government's policy ends in, let's say, hands halfway. I think they also need to reach out to agencies who would be online agencies that have to be in the market to monitor. So before any bus driver moves from a major market, or they can be, okay, like what Food and Drugs Commission does. They get to provision shops, they get to supermarkets, they get to where, pharmacies and the rest of them to checkmate the drugs that are in there.
What about the place of taxation in all this?
Well, for taxation, like if we had discussed something that had to do with does agribusiness, does it need location or factory or office?
We can talk about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, the government would always have to. I think that should be one of the criteria. So yes, it's going to be capital intensive, but you can produce from your house. You must have a certain location where the agency can be able to reach out, visit. Then they can document your tax from there. They will look at your facility or your production capacity, and then your taxation ratio would be maybe progressively deducted or calculated from there. So I do not also really blame the government when it comes to taxation, because most of these people who produce these chemicals do not have a particular registered address.
You are the first person on the show who doesn't blame the government on taxation. Everyone else does.
Everyone will always blame the government, but who are the government? We are the government.
We make laws.
We make the laws. We implement them. Now, it's just that we have different sectors. I put myself in the shoes of the people who are in charge of, or the agencies who are in charge of those kind of assignments. And believe me, they still have more work to do. They have more assignments to go back and then navigate through to get through to this agro-business experts. Because that way we'll be able to get taxes from there. And I think it's high time the government starts or setting up an agency that will be responsible for crop or agro insurance, because that way once your factory finds, or maybe a chemical produced by you, it's found wanting, or you found wanted, or it's damaged, or it's harmful, really they would lock you up. But there is always a first chance for mistakes. You'd always have what to fall back to and then restart, or you do it again from the beginning.
Okay, we're about to talk about how to start up.
Okay.
But if you're joining the show or watching the show, you can join us via the numbers on your screen. Call, have your contribution on the show, send a message, an SMS, tell us your location and your name, ask questions. They're here to do that, to answer that. Let's talk about startup. Many people watching at home might have an idea of agro business, but for many people it seems to be capital intensive. There could be other ways to start up that could be easier for them. So let's talk about starting up. How do I start this business?
Agriculture is not hard to start as a business. starting up anything, firstly, you must look into this. One, do you know about agriculture? What part of agriculture do you really know of, or do you want to go into? Are you an experienced person in this field? Because some persons just because Mr. A, my friend, plants cucumber. Cucumber money they will make I follow join the queue. And you end up wasting your money. So, firstly, you must build up the mindset, have that experience, that professionality. I know how to do this. I can do this. Get that? That is the first thing you must do. Secondly, I don't think that some persons in Akwa Ibom State, for example, that does not have at least a piece of land. Maybe the one you inherit from your parents, your grandfather, your grandmother, and the rest of it. You can start from there.
You must be a lucky one. Many are not that lucky.
I mean, I'm a Nigerian, but believe me, in my state, in fact, as a woman, it's very rare. I mean, I don't even know if my father has a land.
Okay. Aside that, people are out there giving out land for this.
Okay, that's
and
true.
And it's not costly. You can get a plot of land for just 5,000 and cultivate for a year. You make your money. So getting the seed. Okay, for example, a cucumber seed now, a pack which contains about 3,000 seed is being sold for 3,500. And cultivating 3,000 seed, cucumber seed, before you end up the process, there is no how you will not make up to 50, 60,000.
How much will it cost you
to undergo the whole process?
Yeah.
Maybe if you are getting the land as a leasehold, you pay 5,000. Get the seed.
Is it 5?
Just take for example 5, but it will not be more than 10,000. Yeah, or thereabout. Get the seed. You may have friends around as a startup. Oga, mommy, I won't clear my land. No, that land where I just buy, I won't clear. I will come help me. A true friend will likely come and help. You get it cleared. Work on the soil preparation. Make the soil nutritious. Get the seed installed. Before you know, the thing will rise. It will grow. You do staking. In the next 2 months or thereabout, you make your money.
Okay. Give us from your perspective.
Yeah,
what is
because
startup?
I was feeling that the young people who want to start up, let's say farm, rearing of animals and production of chemicals, are being cheated, because I almost fell in love with the planting entire thing. But back to them. First is passion. If you do not have passion, nothing would hardly. In fact, you would lose out. You would lose focus. So first is passion, and then the second is the ability to identify the cluster or the sector you want to go into. And then the third thing for a startup to be able to do is perfection in acquisition of skill. You need to acquire a skill after you've been able to identify which sector you want to go into. So that way, if it is production or if it is services, you'll be perfect. And then the next thing is branding. Now, it's the way you brand your business as a startup or your idea, your business idea, that makes it attractive to venture capitalists. That is how you get access to funds, loans, and grants. So if you do, then you should learn the act of pitching. You should learn the act of there's what they call it, outside pitching, writing a business plan. So that way, as a startup, even if you don't have money, you'd be able to access grants. And then the next thing is, look at your professional capacity, production capacity, to be able to start at your own rate, where you would avoid owing someone or thereabouts. And then as a startup too, also develop the habit of cooperation. You could collaborate. If you collaborate with people, when I started my recycling, I was just doing the production of the feed. Now, it was my brother and his friend who meshed together to do the branding. It didn't have my name on it, but the content was mine.
Let's talk about the practical outlook of...
Yeah, let me just add this.
Add what you want to add.
Okay, as a startup, one of the most important things is getting your business registered to access grant. Yeah. So that was what I wanted to add on.
I was even coming to that.
Let's talk about recycling of feed.
Okay.
You've talked about it. What are the processes of doing this? Because one can do it as a startup, right?
Yeah.
Is it
Very
that
well.
capitally intensive, or you can just start somewhere? What are the processes involved?
It's not that capital intensive. We have local machineries we use. We also have the foreign machineries we use. I started from the local perspective, and at a point, my recycling had to do with the end products. Trash. I turn trash into food. If I'm pitching my business, like my fish feed business.
Well, now you're not pitching.
Yeah,
Now
I
you're
turn trash
explaining.
into food. So now the explanation is
What
this.
do you mean by trash?
Now, trash is what we call waste product, bio waste.
What kind of waste? That's
Let's
the thing.
say fish. If you go to the market at the end of the day, you would see crayfish shells, you would see palm kernel, you would see periwinkle shells, you see egg shells. What I do is I use almond meal to grind all of them, mix them together and formulate this feed. And I wouldn't really want to.
So it would become a feed for what?
It becomes a feed for the catfish consumption.
Oh, okay.
Just any fish can eat it, in as much as that feed or fish rather consumes feed.
Even these
Can you roll it
Yes.
again?
Yeah.
Say it again. I want to know exactly. What is the trash you use, and then you turn it into what, and what do you apply, and then it turns what?
Well, I recycle bio waste, like I mentioned earlier, which example of it is seafood waste.
Okay.
Anything seafood waste, the periwinkle, oysters, egg, all of them, etc. All those things are being pelleted. Now, pelleted means there is a machine that brings it out in different sizes. But first, you need to indulge in what we call hammer mill, where you grind all of them into powder form before you
That's you're
formulate
talking
them.
about the shells.
Yes.
Okay.
So most of the things you throw away, like the
So when you
periwinkle,
grind,
you don't.
when you grind the shells,
Yeah.
it turns out to be food for fish.
Yes.
Okay.
Even palm kernel shell, mix it with corn.
Yeah.
Palm kernel shell, you grind it. That is feed for pigs. Get
Really?
it into smaller sizes. Mix it with the corn.
Even cow
And-
blood. Even cow blood.
It's ready.
If you go to
It's ready meal.
slaughter and make the slaughters, you would notice that they dump cow blood, they pour it. And if you're living in that environment, it won't be hygienic. So at first, I started my brand as a social enterprise. I go to the slaughter, get this entire blood that people throw away. Fish bone, I get all of them. Those are things we use for fish feed. Goats eat all of them.
How do you
Duh.
use the blood?
The blood is being cooked, it's been boiled like water. Now it becomes hard. Then you dry it.
When you boil it, it becomes hard.
Yes, it compacts together, it becomes so dry, and then it will change color. So you're gonna dry it, sun dry it to cool. When it's cold, you take it to the hammer mill, and then you grind each and every one of them. It turns to powder. And in as much as I give it to you, if you are using a foreign feed like coupon, Vitafeed and the rest of them, and
Vitafeed for what?
to feed your catfish, for instance, and then you use the locally biofeed we produce, you would harvest mine, the one that consumes our biofeed, in 1 month, and in the same size which you're supposed to cultivate, that's which consume the foreign feed in 3 months.
So the blood, which comes out compact and hard, and you grind it, becomes feed for fish too.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Did we shock you?
Not at all, but good information from a practical point of view. Thank you, Deme. Thank you, Idomasit, for being a part of the show.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate what you're doing
Thank you.
the information you've given regarding recycling in particular was quite detailed. Thank you. This is Business 101. Business is for profitability. My name is Blado Kim, and here's where we draw the curtain on today's edition of Business 101. Thank you for watching.